Hello everybody, my name is Oksana Gritsenko and I'm a mind transformation coach, founder of Soulful Gifts, and also creator of Know Your True Self program. And I would like to share a few words about this program, and I think it's wonderful primarily because of the transformations that people had taking this program. The program is designed based on a lot of different experiences that I had with a lot of different practices that I went through. I've been studying metaphysics for close to 20 years at this point, and I've been through many seminars, read a lot of books, and had some practical experiences, went through different programs, metaphysical programs. And so what I realized is that usually the emphasis is being placed on certain aspects, but the most basic things, the most basic life skills, the most fundamental things that make the whole difference in terms of how we feel in the world, how we feel about ourselves, how we fit into the reality, how we perceive the reality, our harmony with others or conflict with others, our understanding of our self-worth, abundance or scarcity, our financial situations, our friendships and relationships in the family, our social statuses, and of course how we feel just about life and ourselves generally. A lot of these things are based on, in my mind, a few very fundamental aspects, and I would say maybe even skills, that unfortunately, and I think I'm not the only one who, I do know I'm not the only one who grew up this way, we're not being taught. I grew up in a former Soviet Union, and I learned that United States is really no different, and I've had friends from, or clients from other countries, India, Thailand, Poland, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Mexico. So there are different places where people come from. These things, the fundamental things, are not really taught anywhere, and it's not just cultural. Now, what are they? What are those fundamental things? I'm going to just say a few words because the program is really big, and it's 25 weeks, and we go through a lot of things in the program. But the major aspects that we focus on are, for example, unconditional self-love. Unconditional self-love is not something that, truth be told, I even understood the term until a few years ago, and I already lived here for quite some time in the United States. And what I realized is that I grew up speaking Russian language, and the expression unconditional love, that is literally translated in Russian, is something that I've never heard, nor did I have any understanding of the meaning. And I'm a pretty well-educated person, so not surprising when I started talking about it to other people, whether again culturally they come from here, from other places. Most people have no idea what unconditional love is. Nowadays you hear it a little bit more, and I'm glad that it's happening, but just a few years ago I don't think that it was even something that people used in any kind of conversations. So when I ask people what is unconditional love, and if they ever experience that, some people think that they do love unconditionally, which in fact they don't. Some people think that by default every parent loves their child unconditionally, which is not true. And sometimes people, or oftentimes people, mix up love, genuine or unconditional love, with ego-based love. And sometimes people say, I don't think, when they understand the meaning of it, they say, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible for me to love myself unconditionally. I don't feel I deserve it. I don't think it's possible to love another human being unconditionally, unless it may be my child or my pet. And the huge discovery of it, of course, is amazing when the same exact person starts feeling it, and you can tell, you can feel it. You see how they just energetically, vibrationally shift. The gentleness, the warmth, the kindness that is created by this feeling, this incredible feeling, when their heart opens up. And our hearts, unfortunately, are often closed off. Men more than women, but for a lot of women that happens as well. And that happens because we are often in defense mode, we are often in judgment mode, and we just don't know how to do it. We grew up not learning that we are worthy of love, unconditional love. Some of us are more fortunate than others. We grew up with loving parents. Others grew up with abusive parents, and actually, again, unfortunately, that's not rare. And a lot of parents might be abusive, not to the degree when they hit you, so it's the physical abuse or sexual abuse, although that's pretty common too. But mental and emotional abuse is something that a lot of people experience. Now, the question is not how horrible the parents were. Of course, parents did the best job that consciousness was able to do. So the parents grew up most likely in the same conditions, and so they just pass it on generation after generation. And not loving the self unconditionally means that you can't really offer it to anybody else. And when you don't love others unconditionally, when you don't love yourself unconditionally, you cannot teach your child how to do that. Children, even if you tell them in the most elaborate ways, this is what you have to be doing to love unconditionally, they will always follow what you do, not what you say. And so being that example for your child is very important. And being that example for your child by learning how to love yourself unconditionally. And it has nothing to do with selfishness or ego. Unconditional love is love without conditions. And unfortunately, the vast majority of us, even when we do love, we love with conditions. And we judge, and we expect, we don't accept. And then based on those expectations, we either are loving someone or we are not. We're mad at people, we're angry, we're doing a lot of different things. And that is coming from judgment. So unconditional love is something that if all of us would experience, and first of all, if you experience that towards yourself and you experience that towards someone else, and especially if it's a complete stranger, that is the most beautiful thing. And realization that your heart is capable of that your heart is that big, that your light is that bright, that you can actually do that. It gets your realization of who you are to a completely different level. You connect with other people so much deeper and so much wider in a sense of understanding another person as extension of you. You release a lot of anger, you release a lot of judgments, you release a lot of expectations. Acceptance and unconditional love go hand in hand. Although love is coming from our heart, and acceptance is more of the mindset where the mind releases judgments. Those are the two important segments in Know Your True Self class, Know Your True Self program. And we go into a lot of practical exercises, so we're not just going through the theory of how important it is. You're actually learning by doing something consistently, and it's very important that you're disciplined about it, because if you're not changing anything in your daily routine, if you're not changing your habits, if you're not training your focus concentration, you're training your mind to be quiet so that you can actually hear your thoughts. If you don't hear your thoughts, you have no idea what is it you're thinking. And those are just the conscious thoughts. There are a lot of unconscious, subconscious thoughts that are driving you on a daily basis, 95%. If you don't pay attention to your emotions, and we do talk about emotions in Know It Yourself program, and that's so powerful to understand truly what your emotions are, why they're there, to speak the language of emotions, and to connect to your emotions Most people push them down, suppress them, ignore them, don't even realize that what it is that they're feeling. They can't name an emotion very often. They go into naming what they're supposed to feel, what they're thinking, what they're supposed to be thinking, but not staying there in the moment and just listening to the heart and saying, this is what I feel, without any judgment, without any expectation, just listening to the heart. And then the action, focusing on the willpower, developing the willpower in disciplined manner, and acting in accordance with your with the new thoughts, with the new ideas, following through. That is going to produce amazing, incredible results. So we do have in the program 25 weeks, 25 classes that are focusing on self-acceptance, self-love, unconditional self-love, self-value, self-respect, and self-realization. And I do hope that you check out our website, and you can reach out, and I hope that you will share this information with others. It is available to people virtually, so you can actually join these classes from throughout the world, and they're all taught in small groups with wonderful, very neutral, accepting, and loving coaches. And they can be very transformational, and that's our idea, that they will teach the awareness of you, the awareness of how powerful you are and how you create your own reality, giving you very practical tools for that so you can use them for the rest of your life. And so you can check us out at soulfulgifts.com, or you can comment on this video, and you can call us and find out when is the next enrollment to the class. And I hope that you will join it. Thank you so much for listening, and I do hope that you choose awareness.